Senior Japanese nuclear scientists said there have been 3 full meltdowns. 3 full meltdowns. Core meltdown. 3 full. The plutonium and uranium, the MOX fuel, it went, the second explosion, it went. And we've been getting it ever since. High-res photos prove Fukushima explosion sent plutonium MOX fuel around the world.
「先月、内閣官房参与に任命された原子力専門家が異例の辞任です。
学問上の見地からのみならず、私は受け入れることができます。
今日辞表を提出したのは小迫俊宗氏で、官邸などの対応について場当たり的で事態の収束を遅らせている。誰が決定したのか明らかでなく納得できないなどと批判しました。
I really appreciate Mr. or whatever his title is, Kasako, because I think he's done the whole world a favor, not just Japan. But Japanese people are dignified and controlled and disciplined, and they don't generally walk around in public crying, especially the men. And when he cried on TV and broke down like that, he got the Japanese people's attention. He got mine too, for sure. And that they're used to believing their government. They're not used to mistrusting their government. And they woke up. He woke them up, and he woke me up. Maybe he'll wake a lot of us up. And Japan, I believe, is going to get. They gave out the real numbers. They've his coming out and saying that, and I'm going to put the link for his letter too, because he said exactly why, what they did, how they didn't listen, and it was not just for the people. They should be told right away, everything right away, and including the world, not to hide things like this. And I think he's done the whole world a favor, because I think that they are giving out the real numbers, and especially a lot more real than they were. And we owe him a debt of gratitude. He's a good man, and I appreciate him. I appreciate you, Mr. Kasako. Thank you. You deserve the world prize. This is a radioactive alert. We have been drenched in radioactivity since the beginning. There has been a continuous meltdown, a catastrophic meltdown going on since day one at Fukushima. Now, a lot of people keep calling this Japan's cover-up, but I would like to remind everybody that I don't call it Japan's cover-up. I call it the Western world leaders' cover-up. They are complicit in a genocidal cover-up, and I believe that they're the ones directing the cover-up. But the reason I say that about Japan is because we have to remember Japan had a catastrophic tsunami. Thousands upon thousands of people died. The biggest earthquake almost ever at the same time, which caused a catastrophic event at a nuclear facility. That's a triple play right there. And they have not had 1 minute to think, to adjust to shock, as far as I'm concerned, I chalk that up to shock. If you remember 9/11, when we're in shock, and when you're in shock, your body deals with that. It's not thinking correctly, or not thinking straight, is when you're not. That's why many of us missed so many obvious things, because we were in shock. And if you don't go back to review it when you're no longer in shock, you see it as, oh, that's how it happened. No, those are our memories from being in shock. Now, the Japanese, including their government, has not had any time to adjust to shock. They have been kept in a continual state of shock. And I believe that also they found there's two sets of radiation forecasts, and I believe there have been since the beginning. There's not been a cover-up about this nuclear accident from our world leaders, from our heads in the government, only from the public. And I believe it's the world leaders who decided that. And to avoid panic or more nefarious reasons. But before you go judging Japan too harshly, just remember what they are dealing with. And everybody's concentrated on the nuclear disaster. The sympathy and let's go help them and all this for the horrific tsunami disaster and the horrific earthquake disaster got pushed aside. And instead we're all selfishly, not necessarily unrightfully so, concentrating on the radioactivity. So, remember that before you judge Japan too harshly, because I really don't think it has been their decision to keep it from us. This is Alexander Higgins' blog, and this guy does really good work, and I found it to be reliable work. He also has a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the post, comments, the email subscription. You can subscribe to his blog. You can friend him on Facebook or any of the social networks. And you can also subscribe to him and request friendship with YouTube. And all the channels are really good. He puts his videos up on YouTube. And I would suggest if you want he's a good one to subscribe to if you're interested in keeping up. And I think the whole Northern Hemisphere has as Alex says from Tokyo, whose YouTube user Playback LaPomp, for the whole Northern Hemisphere, actually the world, we are in, this means what it means. We are in deep shit. And obviously, from these cover-ups and not being told anything, even though we're being drenched in radioactivity, do not expect your government to protect you wherever you are. Do not expect that. Do not expect to even hear it on the news. And to me, that is why I call it a genocidal cover-up. There are things, instead of spending all the money to hide it, they could be spending money to research and also tell us what we already know, some of the things they already know, that we could be doing to protect ourselves from some of this and to protect our children, like water filters. But no, that's why I call this this is not just a lie or a cover-up, it is a genocidal lie. Now, we have been being bombarded with radioactivity since the beginning. And the EPA have the documents. You're not always able to pull them up because they quit monitoring. But they have been monitoring since day one. And we have been bombarded with plutonium, uranium, strontium, cesium, all kind of stuff since March 18th. And these levels do not go down. The stream does not stop. The levels have continuously gone up, and when they do begin to decrease, it's not that the radioactivity is decreasing, it's that the amount they continue to add to the environment is decreasing. The amount that's there is there. It's not decreasing. It's just being added to. Okay, let me start this. I have a tape, but I'm going to put this in front of it because I can think a little better now. I'll show you the documents. They really are there. They've been monitoring since the 18th. but I saved them because you can't always pull them up. This is the EPA RadNet air concentration data. Uranium, plutonium, strontium, but they also have the, I'll get back to that, but the data is there for Alaska and California and Guam and Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, Alabama, Florida, Utah, Washington, Dutch Harbor, Juneau, that's Alaska, and Montgomery, Alabama, okay, Arkansas. Just wanted you to know that it does exist. They began monitoring. Plutonium was found from Alaska to San Francisco and down into Guam and Washington, Seattle, on the 18th of March. Strontium was also detected in the United States on the 18th of March. And these other isotopes, which were not released in public reports, were also found. Plutonium, strontium, and cesium. They're different isotopes. 129, 127, 134. Now, they had a fire on the 8th of May, and Fukushima, Japan nuclear radiation levels spike the highest yet, 1,120,000 microsieverts per hour. May 8th, massive fire at Japan Fukushima nuclear reactor on May 8, 2011. You're going to have to go through these yourself, but Fukushima, Japan, groundwater radiation contamination worst in nuclear history. The mainstream media fails to cover 700 millisievert radiation spike following massive Fukushima fire. The leaked government document says Japan nuclear disaster could last indefinitely, and I think it's purposely lasting that way. We have enough planes on this earth, but just take all the boric acid and start dumping it on that sucker. But nah, let's just have a China syndrome and let it let the fuel go to the groundwater. And this is talking about the seawater. Radiation is 7.5 million times over the limit before they dumped 3 million gallons of radioactive water into it. They had to clean out some of the holding tanks because there was even more radioactive water that they had no place to put. Greenpeace says Japan's nuclear disaster is 3 separate Chernobyl level 7 incidents, and that will rise. The latest Fukushima nuclear radiation forecasts show radioactive iodine and cesium over the majority of the U.S. We have been covered many times over. The EU secret emergency order authorizes large increase in food radiation, while officials stress the food is unaffected. Bad news, massive nuclear fallout cloud of highly radioactive iodine hammers Japan. Mislabeled, Xenon forecast map shows massive nuclear radiation fallout cloud over the U.S. A mislabeled Xenon nuclear radiation fallout forecast has been discovered that shows a massive cloud over U.S. and Japan. While playing around with the URLs for Japan nuclear iodine forecast, I discovered a nuclear radiation forecast that was accidentally placed on the ZAMG website. The scientists inadvertently uploaded a radiation forecast showing a massive cloud of Fukushima xenon radiation spreading over Japan and the United States instead of the iodine forecast for May 9th. I decided to see if I could get future forecasts, or should I say a current simulation for May 9th, and oops, they messed up. Were we supposed to see this? World Fukushima Nuclear Xenon Simulation, May 9th, 2011. But they've realized their error. He's got the YouTube video. And the URL now points to correct iodine forecast. This isn't the first time this website has been caught covering up Japan nuclear radiation forecast. As previously reported, YouTube user Dutch Sense discovered one set of radiation forecasts had been issued to the public and another provided to government officials. Oh, that's even worse. There are two sets of forecasts, one for the public and one for government officials. This is the one that we see, and this was the uncensored one. There's a huge difference in all of them, not just this one. That is the that's cesium-137, the total column. The only one we could see on the other forecast was xenon. Very good. Oh, Lord. We've been drenched in radiation from the very beginning. At any rate, you can go watch these videos for yourself, but it's a very, very big difference. Look at that. Radiation found in San Francisco, California tap water. Rainwater radiation 18,100 times above drinking water safe levels. Radioactive Fukushima plutonium and strontium have been bombarding the U.S. West Coast since March 18th. EPA abandoning radiation monitoring to ensure there are no measurements above levels of concern. TEPCO. Pacific Ocean radiation found at levels up to 1,000 times normal in seawater up to 100 feet deep. Radiation in U.S. food will be a nationwide problem, not just regional from Fukushima nuclear radioactive fallout. The rainwater across the entire U.S. is contaminated with Japan nuclear radiation. Everybody's rainwater. Latest TEPCO data shows ongoing nuclear meltdown at Fukushima Reactor 2 in Japan. Latest Fukushima nuclear radiation forecast show radioactive iodine and cesium over the majority of the U.S. And xenon and every damn thing else. I'm going to tell you something. It is time to panic. There's no such thing as fear-mongering on this radiation issue. Because fear-mongering is when you exaggerate something or tell something that's not true just to get people scareder than they need to be. No. Everybody needs to wake up. You can't be too scared for this. If this isn't, whether they intend it to be or not, this is an end game. This is an end game. One of the nuclear scientists, that's not what I intended to say, but I'm upset right now, but I don't know what we're going to do. Oh, Lord have mercy. But I tell you what, we live in an age where I cannot believe all these leaders and all these countries and all these newspapers would participate in such genocide. Jesus. Well, we've got to start, we don't have time for anger anymore, really. We've got to start figuring out what we can do to mediate this in the children's bodies, in the environment. I'm sure nature has something we can do. And we need to start researching it and quit worrying about who did what. And I would appreciate if anybody knows what to do instead of who to blame, what we need to do. Please send me an idea. I have nieces and nephews and the children of the world. We've got to try to do something for them. We need some good person, a better person than me, in a website to start getting together the positive things and what we can do. like what foods do you eat and exactly what you do. I need exact things I can give out. So we need to work fast too, I think. And y'all have a good day. That's all.